Besides being one of the most famous venture capitalists in the world, Dan Bilzerian is a great gambler. But have you ever wondered how the famous star lives? In this video, you will learn all about the net worth of Dan Bilzerian. Net worth. Dan Bilzerian net worth is $310 million. Dan Bilzerian's income comes from his business ventures, poker winnings, and brand endorsement deals. Dan Bilzerian is also indebted to private lenders and banks, with loans running into millions of dollars. If we deduct the money owed by Dan Bilzerian to lenders, his net worth will be negative. Dan Bilzerian rents ultra-luxury cars and houses to complement his worth. Career. Dan Bilzerian, born on 1980 in Tampa Bay. Dan joined the Navy in 1999. In 2000, Bilzerian went on to undergo SEAL training and completed 2 Hell Weeks, but he was kicked out of the program a few weeks before graduation after having a disagreement with one of his administrators. The disagreement reportedly involved a safety violation on the gun range. After leaving the Navy, Dan enrolled at the University of Florida, where he majored in criminology and business. In 2009, at the age of 29, Dan started playing poker professionally. He finished in 180th place at the 2009 World Series of Poker main event. This would turn out to be his most successful officially sanctioned poker event. His winnings topped $36,000. Today Dan is reputed to be a very good poker player. Though his official career winnings at sanctioned events are relatively small, he claims to have won millions, and even tens of millions, in private events. In 2011, Dan and 10 other celebrities were asked to pay back their winnings they'd won against Ponzi scheme artist Bradley Ruderman after Ruderman was sentenced to prison. They were asked to pay back the money to help pay back victims Ruderman had stolen from over the course of his criminal career. That same year, Dan publicly defended Alex Rodriguez against accusations that Alex had gambled illegally. During one particularly legendary event, Dan reportedly won $12.8 million. $10.8 million playing a single game of heads-up, no-limit hold'em, at stakes of $5,000 to $10,000. After winning, he immediately took a private jet to Mexico to celebrate. In that year alone, 2014, he claims to have won $50 million playing poker. He also has lost more than $3 million on at least 3 different occasions. He was named the funniest poker player on Twitter by Bluff magazine, and is also the co-founder of Victory Poker. Legal issues. Bilzerian ended up suing the producers of Lone Survivor, complaining that he had loaned the company $1 million in exchange for a minimum of 8 minutes of screen time and 80 words of dialogue. In the final version of the film, his role ended up being less than 1 minute with just one quick line of dialogue. His lawsuit sought $1.2 million, his original loan amount plus 20%. It was later dropped since Dan had garnered so much publicity around the issue, and he reportedly ended up making $1.5 million on his investment anyway due to the film's success. Dan was banned from a Miami nightclub in August 2014 for kicking model Vanessa Castano in the face during an altercation. Dan stated that Vanessa and another woman had attacked his girlfriend. Castano sued Dan for $1 million for her injuries. Later that year, Dan was wrapped up in a lawsuit with pornographic actress Janice Griffith. He reportedly threw her off a roof and into a pool as part of a photoshoot for Hustler. However, she was left with a broken foot when she fell short of the pool and hit the edge. She asked Bilzerian for $85,000 for her injuries, which he rejected. Griffith then filed a lawsuit against both Hustler and Bilzerian. That same month, December, Bilzerian was arrested at LAX airport on bomb-making charges. His charges were dropped and he was released the same day. In February 2015, Dan pleaded no contest to a charge of negligently failing to extinguish a fire in the open. He was fined $17,231. Social media. Dan Bilzerian has received a level of notoriety recently thanks to his Instagram uploads. He has over 26 million followers, which chronicle an amazing playboy lifestyle that would make Hugh Hefner himself envious. He has dubbed himself the Playboy King of Instagram. His lifestyle is so insane that Dan has had 3 heart attacks before the age of 32. Dan was featured on Joe Rogan's podcast on YouTube, where he explained the run-up to his poker career and current lifestyle. Real estate. Dan has lived most of the last decade in the Hollywood Hills, Bel Air, and Las Vegas. For tax purposes, Dan's primary residence is Las Vegas, Nevada. In 2014, he purchased a 5-bedroom home in Summerlin South for $4.1 million. He sold that house in 2017 for $5.1 million and then purchased a new house nearby for $10 million. In 2018, Dan rented an absolutely enormous, 4-story, 12-bedroom Bel Air mansion for a reported $50,000 per month. He had been previously spending $39,000 per month to rent his home in the Hollywood Hills. In his new mansion, which he aims to make feel like a nightclub, there's a 2-lane bowling alley, a wine cellar, a movie theater, a sports room, and 5 bars. This was the net worth of Dan Bilzerian. Who do you want to see next time? Let us know in the comments.